He knows it doesn't matter what's under a hood. The only thing that matters is who's behind the wheel.
When I'm flushing it, I don't stick divots.
But again, with the driver right now, the driver sucks.
I tried to activate my glutes the best I could.
Now watch this drive.
Hello and welcome back to Under the Covers, baby. It is Masters week and Rory has won another championship at Augusta. Massive news. Matt, tell me about it a little bit.
Dominic, how's it going, buddy? I am fantastic. Rory, Daniel McIlroy, he's my hero. Unfortunately, on a personal note, my putter woes have crept into my full swing game, and I'm just playing terribly right for the start of peak golf season here in Texas. So, unfortunate times down here in the Big D. But
you really hate to hear it. You really do. Mm-hmm. But we also have Kevin here. How we doing, Kevin?
What's up? I'm very happy that Patrick Reed didn't come anywhere close to winning the Masters. That's probably even bigger than Rory winning. But like Matt's experimenting with some putters, I'm experimenting with the little iron set. I put it's a UST recoil prototype 125s in my old Mizuno 223s. Went and hit them. They are pretty nice.
You did like them? They look sweet.
I'm conflicted on if they're going to replace my 925 forged now.
What do you think the biggest difference is on those?
They seem like they're flying the same distance, but a lot higher. So that'd be pretty sweet for some stopping power on the long clubs.
You can already hit it pretty high, though. So it goes even higher than normal.
Yep.
Well,
I think for like the 5, 6, 7, I think it'd be pretty nice. But more research to be done, but fun first testing session here last week.
Nice. I love it. Well, hey, what a freaking weekend, man. This was some great golf that was played. I truly I had a great time watching it. I always do. But this one, Rory had that 6-stroke lead at one point, but it was always exciting. I think when Dustin Johnson had that massive lead, everyone's kind of like, all right, when is this over? Like, we get it. He's going to win. But there was so much back and forth, so many things going on.
And it was just like, it's so Rory McIlroy, right? Like, have a 6-shot lead, then you're down to 0, and then you have a 2-stroke lead on the 18th tee box, and then you blow it further right than you can imagine, right? And it's like, oh gosh, Rory, please. He's like the most poetic and great and also bad golfer at the same time. It's just like it's unbelievable, but he like draws us all in. You can't take your eyes off it when he's on the screen.
That shot on 18, it was so bad that he somehow had a shot still, and as soon as he did, I was very excited. I didn't really know who to root for in this tournament. There was 10 people I would have been happy to see win. Unfortunately, Hao Tung Lee, he dropped pretty quickly. But two things about that.
Hao Tung Lee.
Okay.
His name is Hao.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction there. But two things about that. One, I didn't see anything about his 10 until you texted, and I looked at his score, and it just popped up on the screen that he was +1 now. I'm like, what is going on here? And then with that Rory shot, how did they not follow that ball? Like, it was him or Cam Young's ball was completely lost for like 2 minutes. And I was texting all the, maybe there's not as many cameras around to kind of follow it and track it. But then after all that, there was literally a bunker cam right next to him, like right in front of him. So how did that bunker cam not catch it? It was very confusing what CBS was doing.
Yeah, they had no idea, I feel like, what was going on all day. I mean, I felt like it was the biggest thing on golf Twitter yesterday was probably about CBS and the camera work, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll get to more about the tournament in a little bit, but first we have to do something that we all know and love, and that is talk about Rory McIlroy. This is his 30th career win and his 6th major win, which is very cool. He joined some pretty cool company. Obviously, back-to-back Masters wins, 4th to ever do that, alongside Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, and now Rory is on that list. Some pretty incredible company there. And he also passes a couple people in major lists too. And I want to say Phil Mickelson has 6, if I remember correctly. But going into his scores, he started off with a very hot 67, and it was looking like Rory again, and had the lead, and then another 65 to get that massive 6-stroke lead, and then 2 shaky weekend rounds, 73 and a 71 to finish at 12 under. So kind of had us like a normal Rory round where it's very roller coaster vibes. Don't really know what's going to happen. He seemed like he was under control most shots, and then completely lost it in other ones. But I think a very important question that we need to ask is what's under the covers? Kevin, why don't you take it from there?
Yeah, so under the covers for Rory, his driver, he's got the QI4D. It's 9 degree, but set at 8. Fujikura Ventus Black 6X. He's been playing this driver shaft for quite a while. When I think Ventus Black, I think Rory McIlroy for sure. He played the QI10 5-wood in a Ventus Black 9X, so pretty stout boy there. And then he also had didn't he have the QI4D? No, it was the QI10 3-wood and then QI40 5-wood. Sorry, I think I mixed that up. But Ventus Black through and through. Interesting to intermix the QI10 and the QI4D in the fairway wood. So something he likes about the 5-wood. But 3-wood is old trusty with the QI10. Yeah, Matt Down, what do you think of these tailor-made woods?
I want to say, was he one of the first people that was using the Ventus Black, or is he maybe the bigger name that started using them? Because I feel like he was kind of up there, and that was one of those, whoa, this shaft is sick.
He's messed around with Tensai Orange too, if I remember that correctly, back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think since Ventus Black has become a popular shaft in the tour world, he's pretty much been exclusively Ventus Black for the last few years. And he bombs the ball off the tee. I think it's interesting that he put the QI10 back in play because he was in the QI4D for a long time. So I'm wondering if he just saw something he liked, or maybe for Augusta, because at Augusta you have to hit cuts off of draw lies a lot is the big thing there. And so I wonder if he was able to cut it more or something. Like he had something with that specific 3-wood or 5-wood that he really liked, where he was like, okay, I need it to do X, Y, and Z, and the other one can't. So.
Yeah, I saw that his 3-wood, it's stock at 15 degrees. It was tuned down to 13.75. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when you de-loft on the shaft adapter, it generally opens the face a little bit.
I believe that's correct. Yeah, de-lofting opens. Yeah, adding loft closes the face.
Yeah, so he had it, kind of set up for that cut, and he could just rip it. Interesting to go to 13.75 there on the 3-wood, and then his 5-wood was also de-lofted. So he is setting up cuts. I feel like Rory, is kind of that guy that he can hit a draw or a cut, at any time on command. Other guys, they're really steady on one, but then when they go to the other, side, they're super wayward. And I feel like that's been a difference maker for Rory here, winning the last 2 Masters.
For sure. I never thought of that's a great point, that there's a lot of draw lies that they need to hit those cuts. That's a very interesting point. Matt, have you ever played any of those courses? You never played Olympic Club in San Francisco, right? Have you played one of those massively sloped fairway kind of courses?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that comes to mind is Prairie Dunes. Prairie Dunes up in Hutchinson, Kansas is really super hilly, kind of in these kind of dunescapes. Erin Hills comes to mind of really sloped fairways, and then you have to hit cuts. But I think the famous shot there, right, is 13. You're on a draw lie, your ball's above your feet, and the preferred shot into that green is a cut. That's the way to get close to that pin. It makes sense to those guys. They have they bring that for a specific shot. I mean, when you hit it 350 off the tee, and you have 8-iron or 7-iron into that green, I guess the 3-wood that you put into play doesn't make that much of a difference.
That's actually brings up a good point. So he changed back from the 4D down to the I-10. And then, Kevin, did he make any driver changes? Because that unreal stat where he only hit the fairway once or twice on all the par fives in the entire tournament. Like, did he make any changes on that driver, or is that just like a nervy thing?
I don't think so. I think he's been one of the guys this year that has been steady with the QI4D, where Scotty's gone back and forth and some other players have gone back and forth or tried different things. I think Rory's been pretty consistent so far this whole year with the QI4D.
And then do I see he has a 9X? Is that just the most stiff thing in the world? Is that more than the flagpole?
That would be quite stiff. Yeah, 8X on the 3-wood, 9X on the 5-wood. Heavy and stiff. You got to really crank that thing to get it to flex.
What's the one you let me try? I think it was your bachelor party or mine, but you were so excited you had the Rory shaft. Which one was that? Was that the 6X?
That was the... let's see. That I think that was a 6X. Yeah, that would have been Rory shaft, the Ventus Black 6X. And then in my 5-wood right now, I've got Ventus Black 7X.
Nice. I remember that thing ripped, but it was too far right for me because I wasn't swinging hard enough. But like whenever I caught it, maybe 2 or 3 times, it just flew forever. It was very fun to watch, but just not for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's how the Tensei Orange is for me. If I try to take something off of it, I'm not really accurate. I feel like it's so stout that you got to give it your all on like every swing, unless you've got Rory's speed.
Yeah. What about those? What kind of irons is he playing these days?
So his 4-iron is older one. It's a TaylorMade P760. And then he's got his famous Roars Proto irons on the 5 through 9 with Project X 7.0s. So let's talk about flagpoles there. 7.0 is stiff. The Roars Protos are pretty fun. They're a muscleback blade, kind of look like the TWs, or the older style TaylorMade MBs. Every manufacturer has some form of MBs. TaylorMade's current line of the P7 MBs don't really look like this much of a traditional blade. But TaylorMade has sold these a few times in the past, and we've kind of wondered how much the retail versions would match what Rory's actually playing. But as far as you can see, going off pictures and what you hear, the Roars Proto, you could buy his exact specs, just like you could buy Tiger Woods. Matt, what do you think about those blades?
I feel like he's played the 7X since I remember him coming out on tour. Like, I feel like when I watched him come out when he was 18 years old, and he was like pudgy Rory back in the day, he was still playing. He was still playing those exact same Project X 7.0s. I know he in Australia at the beginning of this year, or at the end of last year, he toyed around with the cavity backs for a little bit, and then he went back to the blades. I believe what he said was the cavity backs went too left on him, so he would hit it had more like offset,
a little more offset,
and then would draw too much for him, so he kind of saw the ball falling left and didn't like that. So interesting, he's back in the blades. And then again on Saturday, his problem was the ball going left most of the time. So probably a good switch. Yeah, I mean, such a classic blade player. Like he can hit 4-iron as high as he possibly wants to. It doesn't matter. So he's just one of those guys that's such a good ball striker. And it's crazy to me, like Rory's not that big. Like, I mean, he is strong, but like he's my size. Like he's like 5'9", 5'8", or okay, 5'9". And he like swings 7.0s. That's pretty nuts. Like I can't imagine that.
His speed is unreal.
Has he always been that fast and that strong, or has his swing speed always has it exponentially grew?
Yeah, he's always had natural speed. Like just and I think the workout stuff that he's done is more to stay fast as he was when he was like 18 and 20 years old versus like get faster. I would say he's always been one of the longest guys on tour since he came out.
Makes sense. He's a little bit like Jose Altuve. He uses the biggest bat possible, but he's the shortest guy out there. Had to plug the Astros.
Yeah.
He really
is a great compare.
Without the cheating, though.
Well, alleged Amanda.
Oh, you're
Anyways.
bad.
I'm sorry.
bad.
I'm sorry. I was watching this weekend with Blake, and I hope he's listening. He was like such a Rory hater because of the Amanda thing, and I was like, "Do you even know that it's real?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I saw. Yeah, like I saw a post about it." And I was like, "Did
What,
you
do you
read
read one
it?"
from the Daily Mail?
Yeah, I compared it to the Daily Mail. I was saying it's like the Coach Vrabel thing with that one girl where it's like,
Oh, Diana Rossini.
yeah, you take a picture of 8 people doing this one thing, and then you zoom in on them two, and it's like, oh, they must be cheating. They're next to each other. It's like, come on.
Except for Jimmy Buckets and that one girl, they were actually sleeping together. But that's all
for sure. So let's get into these wedges.
So wedges, he's got pitching wedge through 60, TaylorMade MG5, so 46 degree, 50 degree, 54 degree, and then 60. I won't make an error and say that a 4-degree gap is a 6-degree gap this week, or vice versa. So 4 degrees between 46, 50, and 54, then a 6-degree gap between 54 and 60. And his 60 actually has a stamp on it that says 61. So he's playing it bent to 61, get a little extra degree aloft there. But MG5's milled grind, TaylorMade has been doing that on some of their wedges. And also, I don't know if the Roars Protos are like this, but the TWs, they say milled grind on those irons too. So TaylorMade is rocking that, and it's a nice look. Everyone likes a nice milled finish. But he's got the raw finish on all these. Just looks really classic. And then he's actually gotten his putter to match in that like raw finish, the raw metal, with his Spider Tour X. Yeah, exactly. And then, we'll talk about his putter a little more, but, also removed the alignment, like the stripe. So he's just got the alignment line.
We did.
It's pretty sweet looking putter.
Wasn't that Morikawa that did that, or who else did that?
They've all kind of changed around. Like the Tommy Fleetwood has used a couple different alignment lines. I think Morikawa has as well. They all have some sort of like custom version that they're using.
I remember hearing this at one point, but I think Rory's story is he gets a fresh 60 degree every week he plays. Yeah. So he has just a fresh lob wedge he can chip with and everything every week.
The first time I heard of someone doing that was it was J-Day. Yeah. It was years ago, and he said I think it was every 4 weeks way back when. That's insane. Yeah. I was curious about wedges though. So you said it's a 60 degree bent to 61, but they stamped it 61?
It's just like on the back of the club, there's a stamp just like Matt does stamping. It says 61.
That's cool. Okay, I like that.
It's just like I feel like a lot of guys do that. I don't think he does a ton of stuff on there. I think he just has a little RM stamp on his, and then I think the actual lofts that he throws on there. But with milled grind stuff, what's cool about those is like they can make him the exact same bounce every time because they can save the milled grind inside whatever the machine, and it just pops it out the exact same every way. So when they give him a new 60 degree every week, it doesn't feel any different to him every time he goes out.
Can we get into wedges real quick? Matt and Kevin, I want to hear which ones have y'all tried. Matt, are you strictly Vokey, or have you tried other wedges? Because I'm kind of feeling it may be a TaylorMade Cleveland on my next round.
I have never played anything outside of a Vokey wedge.
Sad. There's some good ones out there. I've tried a little bit of everything.
Tell him, Kev.
I say that with a heavy preference towards Vokeys. I don't currently have any, but I liked the ones that I had in the past. Currently have some TaylorMades, and then I've got my RTXs, or is it RTZs? My backup new set is waiting for me to get into them here as soon as I feel like I'm losing some spin.
Yeah, because I mentioned it before. I tried the Zip Core, and I think I really want to try those next. Those things they feel nice.
Yeah, Cleveland has made some very nice wedges over the years. I think that's like the only thing really keeping that brand alive, where Dunlop hasn't just fully shut them down and gone, all Srixon.
Mm-hmm. With the wedges, man, I just, why fix something that's not broken? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's true, but you gotta branch out a little bit.
Kevin hates that term, by the way, because he will always change until the day he dies. He's gonna flip irons, wedges, putters, whatever until I don't know. I don't even think if it works, you're gonna keep it. You just love trying.
Yeah,
and I respect it.
I have a good time trying things. You know, a bunch of my college friends made fun of me so much for having all these different putters, and saying like that's why I was like bad at putting. It's just because I was like switching them out so much. It's just like this is like what I like about golf. I like testing stuff. I like trying out new equipment and seeing what works and what doesn't. My PLD that I talk about so much now is definitely the club I've had the longest in my bag so far. So not really trying to tinker with, the putter itself, but I did just switch out for a pretty nasty ostrich leather Bettinardi grip on it.
Did you?
It is nice. Yeah. I had the football leather Super Stroke on it pretty much since I've had it. And then I just switched it. Had to spend a little extra money at Bettinardi for the head cover I wanted to get free shipping. So it's just like, this grip is pretty dope. Let's throw it on there.
PETA's gonna come after your ass, Kevin.
That ostrich was being used for something else. So being more sustainable.
Did you say PETA?
Yeah. Is it
PETA?
I think it's PETA. I had to think about it for a second, what you meant.
Sorry.
I think I know what he's saying.
I was thinking of Hunger Games, and I was catnip.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Go paint yourself as a rock or something. So, speaking of putters, I mean, I don't even know if we have to say it. It's just kind of automatic at this point. Another Spider has won another golf tournament. What kind of Spider does Rory have, though?
Yeah, Spider Tour X, short slant neck, so a little bit of toe hang. He's got the regular pure roll insert, black stepless shaft, pretty sweet looking, and then Super Stroke Pistol Tour 1.0 grip, and it's this week he switched out the color. I haven't seen him if he's played this grip in the past, but it was green like the Masters and had roars written on it. I think in the past I had seen him with white and black, but this one was pretty cool.
The European Ryder Cup one for a while. I know that.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. But I read that with the alignment line, so he got rid of the Vizzy stripe or whatever they call it.
He had the white one with the black line in the middle of it.
Right. That's like what they do on all their Spiders now. And apparently he was just like testing some different alignment lines and just thought that one looked cool. Even though he was having success with like the standard white and black line, he just thought this one looked better and then switched and, now has won. So pretty sweet looking Spider. I feel like for the non-mallet lovers, the fact that he's got it more of like in a simple, colorway, I think that makes it, a little bit more appealing. If you don't love Spiders or if you don't love mallets and you're more of a traditionalist, Spiders are kind of the way to go. And this is maybe, a path that could get some blade players to try a mallet.
What is a pistol grip? I've seen that a few times, but I haven't looked it up yet.
It's like where the far end of the grip is a little bit thicker and like shaped to fit your hand, like a pistol would be. Think of like how you'd hold a shotgun or a hammer or an axe. It has that like curvature. And then, yeah, for Super Stroke, they have, no taper on the way down to be the same width all the way down. But then the back of it, like where your fingers would go, that's more like shaped, so it's more comfortable on your hands.
I might need to try that because I've been using the big 5, the big boy Super Stroke for a bit, and I'm curious if that might help. We love a big.
Yeah. I think you would like it. The pistol, it just feels nice in your hands for sure. Your big boy feels nice, but in my opinion, that's almost like too thick where you lose like some feel in the putter. I think you would like probably like a 2.0 pistol.
The 2.0 pistol works great for my claw.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Why?
And they make a specific claw designed one, or the one that Jordan Spieth plays is the 1.0 Flatso. That's more of like a pentagon shape. If I end up not liking this ostrich leather, I think I'm going to try that Flatso 1.0.
You want to emulate Jordan Spieth's putting?
I think that really like flat top would be nice to feel, with your thumbs and just give you like a little extra like face awareness.
I like that. And going back to Rory's fit was pretty cool. Like it was very small details, but the whoop I think was green as well. The swoop on his Nike, like he had a couple of fun little like, oh, there's green. That's cool. It didn't match his shirt at all, but it was still fun. And then he's playing a TP5, I believe, unless he changed back to the TP5X. What ball is he using?
Yeah, the TP5, and he's got it marked where it says Roars on it, so easily identifiable that it's his ball. This was where, I don't know if you remember on TGL, he was picked up on a hot mic talking about his TP5, and someone was like floored that it was the retail version, or maybe it wasn't. We didn't hear the answer to that clarifying question. But, TaylorMade has been touting him as, the TP5 has cured all of his golf problems and it's the best ball on earth. I'd love to know if it's actually a TP5.
Yeah.
It's the higher spinning one too, right? He went to the more spinny ball. Yeah.
Yeah. TaylorMade had to be backwards, and the TP5X is like the Pro V1. The TP5 is like the Pro V1X.
Speaking of golf balls, I heard Gary Player talking about the rollback, and I don't know. I'm kind of starting to agree with him a little bit. At first, I thought it was silly and dumb, but the way he explained it, it's kind of, as a golf purist, he was saying golf was made so you can control the ball. And right now it's all about how far you can hit it. So it's almost like, and you're running out of room. You're running out of irrigation, grass, anything like that. So he's saying, roll it back, make them hit 60 yards less, and make them actually be players again and actually control the ball a little bit. And I was like, oh, wow. That is a great point. I didn't even think about how far back they've been having to push these tee boxes too. Matt, do you have any thoughts on that one?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the chairman of Augusta, he talked about it really well. Kind of said the same things, right? Like most golf courses that aren't Augusta National can't keep up with how far players hit it, right? So, I mean, if you just look at 13 at Augusta has gone from 510 and now it's like 555 or something, and tucked even more back in that corner. So yeah, like I can see it. I would love to figure out a way. I don't think we should change, like I don't think we should bifurcate the game. So like I don't think amateurs should play something different than what the pros play. I do think we should all play somewhat the same thing. And I do feel like we don't play the same thing right now. I feel like the pros get access to a ton of the custom stuff and all that sort of thing. So I don't know. I definitely think they should roll it back. I really think they should keep the ball the same and they should make the drivers smaller, in my opinion. But there's so many opinions on it. You can get to talking for hours on this topic and everybody has a different opinion on it. So
what would the smaller head do though?
Just make it harder to hit, right? The sweet spot is so big. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I've hit a couple way off the toe with my new Callaway Quantum, and it still goes like really far. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yep, same with my 440. Sometimes you just hit one you think it's going to be dreadful, and then it goes in the fairway, and you're like, wow, technology is a great thing.
It's like Bryson was saying, driver technology hasn't advanced in 20 years or whatever his...
He's not playing a ping or a Quantum, I guess.
Bryson is playing a crank driver, so I wouldn't take it. his driver takes with any source of...
With how Rory's career's gone, going back to Rory for a little bit, it's pretty incredible that he finally gets over the hump and wins the Masters to complete the Grand Slam. Massive for him. The people love it. It's great. And then, next year he goes back to back, solidifies himself on that with that awesome company. So he's so deserving to be in that list of guys that have gone back to back and have won the Masters, won the Grand Slam, things like that. But it's also hilarious and so fitting, and it's such a Rory thing that after he completes all this stuff and gets all these achievements, it's going to immediately get overshadowed by Scotty winning the Grand Slam on his 30th birthday at Shinnecock.
You think?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Rory's had his time in the sun. I think Scotty is back. His power fade is so back. He looked good, man. I think he's he's going to be trouble.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This puts Scotty has 4 majors. He has 4 total majors, right?
Yep, 4. Yep.
This puts Rory tied with Phil, Nick Faldo, and Lee Trevino at 6. And Brooks is at 5.
Majors.
5 majors. That's right. So I don't know, man. Scotty doesn't love tough golf courses. I don't know if he's going to love Shinnecock. Shinnecock is hard. And I feel like he gets so frustrated at tough golf courses. But I mean, I think what this does do is put Rory, like Rory is the best European player of all time, for sure. I mean, he's tied with Faldo in majors, but Faldo never won the Grand Slam. Faldo has 3 green jackets, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right there.
And yeah, I just think he's definitely the best. Now, the only question I had is, because he's from Northern Ireland, technically it's part of England or the United Kingdom, whatever. It's so confusing. But do you think he becomes Sir Rory McIlroy now?
That's a great point. Yeah. Right?
Don't you have to be like knighted for that, right?
Yeah, it's a knighthood, and it's like Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, why did he? What does it take to get knighted? Because were they waiting for him to win the Grand Slam to knight him? Because I feel like they would have done it by now.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, but he's got to be. He's got to be close if he's in the running for it. Let me see. Yeah, Nick Faldo has 3 Masters.
Well, yeah, and 3 Opens.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
After he won 6 majors and led the European team to the Ryder Cup, they're just like, we got to knight this guy. He's our guy.
Yep.
Which I can totally see him getting knighted and becoming Sir Rory. Kevin, I'm curious, what do you think? How many majors is he going to get to, or is he going to be done now?
I could see him peeling off like 1 or 2 more. I don't think he'll have much more in him after that. I think the younger guys coming up, are going to be really pushing him, and Scotty is just going to keep being Scotty here for a while. Yeah, I could see like, Brooks ripping off another one once he gets his legs back under him, being on, the PGA Tour again. There's just so many good players out there. I think it's kind of like when we talk about the NBA, just like, me and you, Dom, like on the side, like the talent is so much better now than it was way back when. There's so many good players who are capable of winning like any tournament, any week, and I think, Rory will, have success for sure and continue to play well. And he's still at the top of his game right now. But, asking for that many majors is really tough. If he gets to 8 majors, that's pretty insane. That's epic.
I like that take about Brooks. Like, he just loves the competition. He loves majors. So I agree with that one too. I could see him getting double digits. Rory.
Brooks hasn't been my favorite golfer in the world for his career, just with some of his like comments, but there's something about like him being on the PGA Tour again that it just feels right and feels, like he's back where he belongs, and now I'm ready for him to go win a major again.
No, I think Freddie said it best. Like after round 1, Freddie was like, he might never lose this tournament again, which was a sick call, honestly. Yeah. That was sick. I don't know, like he's like mid-30s. So let's just say he has 8 to 9 really good chances at Augusta still if he stays healthy. And that's just Augusta. I feel like he's going to clip another 2 at Augusta from the way like the pressure's off. He said it feels like his home golf course now. Like he's probably getting another 2, and then I think he snags like an Open or something at some point, or maybe even a PGA somewhere. He probably won't win PGA Frisco because I think he hates that golf course already, is what I've heard. So, but I could see him at 9. I think I would put. I don't know. 10 is a lot. I would say 9. If you gave me 8.5 as the over under, I'd probably take the over.
Okay. Well, I mean, I get it, but then if you look at Phil Mickelson, he won all of his majors when he was way up there. He didn't win his first one till he was like 30. I don't know, 4.
Yeah. He was late. Phil's such an interesting. He's so hard to compare against, though.
That's true.
And I think Rory has absolutely passed Phil. I think at winning the Grand Slam, you've definitely passed Phil at this point.
Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah,
but how many majors would Phil have if he didn't exist at the same time as Tiger Woods?
Whoa, that's a great question.
A lot.
Yeah, how
But
many number 2s did he have?
how
Way
many
too
majors would he have won if he wasn't a dumbass on AT&T at Winged Foot? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
How many majors would Rory have won if he didn't go to Nike, right? Like, there's a ton of... There's always what ifs in this world.
If you didn't get the putter yips.
That's right.
Yep.
Matt, do you have any who else were you watching this tournament? Do you have any notes on, I feel like you probably have something to say about Justin Rose.
Yeah, I was rooting for Justin Rose hard. I wanted Justin Rose to win for sure. He deserves a green jacket. I think what my thought was can you tell the story of the Masters tournament history without including Justin Rose in the conversation now? And I don't think you can. I think he's been so a part of playoffs and high finishes that he's a part of Masters lore forever. Liked seeing what Jake Knapp was doing. He had a good final round in there.
Mm-hmm.
Terrell Hatton was the best live player, which was awesome. He was making birdies coming down the stretch.
Who would have thought
Max Homa played? I know, yeah. Max Homa was playing well, which was good to see. Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa looks like he was limping down the fairway at the end and just like arm swinging it, and he got whatever it was, a top 10, which is crazy.
That old man won.
Yeah, a ton of guys. I was upset. I mean, Cam Young putter left in, which was tough, but that's his weakness is the putter. Yeah, it was a great tournament. It was a thoroughbreds golf course, like I said. It was thoroughbreds only. There was not many. There's not many fakers going around Augusta National at the top of the leaderboard this week. No amateurs made the cut as well, which is usually the sign of a tough golf.
Yeah, tough last round for Cam Young. We were just talking about him a couple weeks ago when he won, and excited for how well he had been playing. I was excited to see if he had won, looking at if anything had changed on what's under the covers for him, from his win a couple weeks ago. But he's just like so freaking strong with, his long game. He is very fun to watch. I love his swing and his little pause on the backswing. But, awesome. You were asking, who was Matt watching, who he wasn't watching. It's your boy P. Reed, because he went way down.
We didn't have to talk about that.
I would have liked to see him go down even further. He still finished with T12, which is still too good for him. But, he wasn't in contention. I said I was desperately not wanting Rory to have a blow up. And if Patrick Reed would have won, it would have really ruined me. That'd be like the Steelers winning the Super Bowl. I am so happy he did not get close.
I had a pretty good, Bree and I had a pretty good back and forth about that. So I already mentioned that I had no clue who to root for in the back there. But what we're rooting for is I didn't want somebody to lose the golf tournament. I didn't want a blow up to happen. I wanted somebody to win the tournament. I wanted someone to go 9 under on the final round to get to that spot. It almost happened. Rory really tried to make my heart be crushed, but yeah, he ended up holding it out, and it was great. It was an awesome finish for everybody. I mean, obviously you hate to see Justin Rose go so low, but I think it was still a really fun finish. Yeah,
Rory, with how he finished, he really had the heart pumping with his tee shot on 16, putting it over the green when everyone's kind of licking their chops on 16, thinking that if you hit it on that slope, you're going to be a kick in for birdie, and he puts it over the green. And that chip shot, I was like, down that hill, that's going to be a very tough chip shot. And he almost makes it. And then 17, he misses the green on his second shot again. And he almost makes that chip. And then obviously his tee ball on 18 goes super wayward. He's like, he was trying to give it away and then making hero shots to save his bad shots. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was unreal.
I loved seeing Shane Lowry eject himself. That was fantastic. I was a big fan of that. Give me more of Shane Lowry ejecting himself on the final round.
That was great.
Sam Burns, he ejected himself. Not a real player. Get out of here. They continue to tell me Sam Burns is the best putter on tour, and I every time they cut to him, I see him missing a putt.
Who says that?
But every broadcast we watch, oh, this is the best putter on tour.
Oh.
It's like, maybe, but every time I see him, he have like a putt that matters. It doesn't go in. So TBD on that one. I thought Rory was gonna make the putt or the chip shot on 16 from long of the green because he was basically in the Tiger spot.
Exactly the same. It seemed like
Right. And I was like, man, wouldn't it would be wild if that ball crept over and had roars on it or something. That
Oh
would
my
be,
gosh.
that would be the most insane thing in the world. And when he hit the putt, I was like, the funniest part was he was gonna that would have been replayed with, he was putting off the green instead of chipping for the next 40 years or whatever. But
there was a
he
lot
didn't
of
make it.
putts. Why was that?
Yeah. I think it got so hot. It was starting to, some of the overseed was starting to die off is kind of what I was hearing. So it was kind of getting a little bit Bermuda-y, and the Bermuda was kind of coming through. And if you start chipping off Bermuda, it just gets really hard to chip. And it kind of was like, they got it really firm and fast, which is great, but it just makes it a little bit iffy to chip off that stuff. So a lot of guys just went to the putter. I think usually it's a little bit more thicker at Augusta around the greens, and so it's easier to chip off of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, if he would have made that chip on 16, that would have seemed so staged. Like I don't know how you could stage it, but it would have felt that way.
NFL rigged.
Right. You said with Sam Burns, I quick pulled up his stats. Strokes gained putting, he's 12th so far this year on the PGA Tour. Last year he was first in strokes gained putting. So
see, they keep
the
telling me
broadcast might not be wrong.
They keep telling me he's the best part in the world. I have yet to see it because he doesn't make anything that he needs to make.
So somebody that I continue to root for, he really kind of fell off a little bit on that Saturday round, but I think Aaron Rai is going to make a big splash one of these years. He won the par 3 contest, and that's usually a death sentence for the Masters because you never win both. But he has really good game, and the double glove that's just fun. Like nobody does that, and they're black, which is just hilarious. Like all the choices he's making just make me giggle. But I think he's such a good player. I think he's gonna get a lot of wins under his belt.
He is one of the nicest guys. I've actually had a personal interaction with Aaron Rai. Quick story time. I ran the range at Colonial one year, the Colonial tournament, and I was giving out golf balls, and it was the Sunday, and the Formula One race was on. So I had the Formula One race on my phone behind the little stand where I was giving out golf balls. And Aaron Rai came up, and I didn't even know anybody was there. And he's like, "Hey, can I get Pro V1s or whatever he wanted?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, sure." And then he was like, "Oh, is that the Formula One race?" And he came over and like watched the Formula One race with me for like 5 minutes because he's super into Formula.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like the nicest guy in the world. He always said like, "Thank you, I really appreciate it." Like a lot of guys just grab the balls and just like take off. Like they don't look at you for another second. But like he was by far like one of the nicest guys that you'd had an interaction with all week that I did. So I always secretly root for Aaron Rai. I think he's a super good dude.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I feel like you always love to hear that, where you always think if I win billions of dollars, is my personality going to change? If I get super famous, am I going to change? I feel like Aaron Rai just seems like one of those genuine dudes,
Yeah, I think these players have such a big opportunity to like really make someone's day. And, like just grabbing the balls and moving on, like, sure, you can do that. But like when the player tosses a ball to a kid or hands a glove, like you just like really altered their day, and it took such like minimum effort. You really like to see that.
I think the last thing we can kind of recap with the Masters, I want to go through our draft board real quick, if y'all would humor me. So some quick hitters. Did you have a plan to do this later?
No, let's do it.
Okay, sweet. Starting off, I'm going to go a little bit quicker. If you want to interject. A lefty did not win. Kevin's crazy storyline. Jordan Spieth did not win. Rory did not miss the cut. Big news. He did not miss the cut.
Did you pick a cut?
Yeah, that was my crazy storyline. Because it's not that crazy. Well, it's crazy now, obviously, because he just won back-to-back. But like, there's been big names that do so well, and then they just fall off that next year. It was a possibility. Wasn't my best. Chris Gotterup, he was my first timer to kind of bet on, and I feel like him and Kevin's guess with Ben Griffin, They're both kind of neck and neck all day. I didn't actually see where they finished, but they both had really good rounds, I feel like.
Yeah, Goddard finished 2 under at T24, and Griffin was T33 at even par. Griffin was +5 on Sunday, which kind of sucked.
He was right there with Goddard though, like the entire time. So that last round must have been it then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after day 3, Griffin had him by, I think, 2 or 3 strokes, and then he just fell apart.
Okay. Well, hey, out of all the first timers, Matthew, you had Marco Penge, and he was top 50 as well. I feel like we all did really well with our first timer picks.
Yeah, I like it.
Missing the cut. You might have to help me out.
Sorry,
with this one,
pause for a quick second. You said it's top 50. Does that get an asterisk because he's the second player at T49?
No, it says T49. there's a 49 next to his name.
Yeah, that's how it works, Kevin.
Yeah, suck it, Kev. So our next round was who misses the cut, and Kevin, you chose Cam Smith, which that was accurate, right? He didn't do too hot.
Yeah, he stinks.
John Rahm, I think that was the most, besides the Rory missing the cut storyline, that was probably the most exciting and out there miscut picks. It was awesome. I mean, he was one stroke away from it.
I just got bad vibes from him. I got bad vibes, so I had to pick him.
And then he got mad on Sunday, I guess, and went 10 under, whatever score
he's Dak. He's Dak Prescott. I tweeted it this week. He makes birdies in garbage time when it doesn't matter.
That's so true. We need to clip that for sure. So I had Brooks Koepka. Go for it.
I saw a wild video about John Rahm using a zero loft putter, and he had some putt that came up, crazy short, and he was like mouthed on the camera. He was like, how is that possible? And then this guy goes into like this big explanation for why like zero loft putters like put backspin on it, because he basically like hitting down on the putt, and it was hilarious. It felt like the description you read during our last show about Bryson's clubs. It was the same exact vibes, and it was great that like Rahm's kind of like a hothead with that stuff, and someone just put him in his place.
That's awesome, you dork. Kevin, do you happen to have the scoring averages per hole pulled up?
I don't. I could get it pulled up here.
Pull that up, and then I'm going to talk about my miscut pick, Brooks Koepka. So based on previous rounds and tournaments, he was doing pretty rough, and he's still kind of getting his sea legs a little bit. I am probably the most happy to be wrong about Brooks missing the cut. I love watching him play. He looks sick in the mock necks. He had 4 days of mock necks, which that's not normal, right? Like he's normally a polo guy. It looked awesome.
It's like a Tiger homage.
Okay. It's got like the textured look to it. I might have to give you some of those.
Yeah. While Kevin's looking these up, I want to touch on Sergio. I feel like we can't talk about the Masters without talking about Sergio. What he did on 2 tee box, that was so funny. He looks like a little child out there.
Speaking of dorks, dude.
Yeah, in his stupid little fireballs costumes and his stupid, and then he goes and takes a chunk out of the tee box, and then for good measure, it's like usually when you slam your driver and you break your driver, they're like it's like accidental. He hit the bottom of the shaft on a metal cooler stand. Like, yeah, it's gonna break.
He knew what he was doing.
Such an idiot.
One of the green jackets got in it on him, and on going off of 4 tee box. They one of the rules official came and kind of was like gave him a little warning, a little slap on the wrist, but
out of all places to do that, like he knew what he was doing the whole time. That's not seeing red and doing something. Like he knew the implications that he was doing. And then he went and picked up John Rahm's bag as like an overcorrection. Like, oh, let me be nice for a second.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna be like, like how like Rory can go play Augusta whenever he wants because he's like the Masters champion. Although he still has to play with a member, I think they're like Sergio's gonna call up and be like, "Hey, can I play?" And they're like, "Nah,
we're good." They're giving him the Wyndham Clark treatment at Oakmont.
Yeah.
All right, what you got, Kevin?
What was your question about the toughest holes?
So, our favorite holes. I'm just curious what our favorites did in the realm of difficulty. So, Kevin, your favorite hole was number 1, T Olive. What was that ranked on the hardest holes for the weekend?
Number 1, I don't have it in that. Let me hang on. Pause.
Very good.
Okay. So, number 1 is the 6th hardest hole of the weekend, at 4.179 strokes. So 1.79 above par.
Dang. Okay. And then number 3 was Matt's choice, Flowering Peach.
Number 3 was kind of down there, one of the easier ones. Hardest hole. That was actually under par, so at 3.9.
Nice. And that was more like that's a cosmetic hole. Like you weren't liking it because of how hard it was. It's just a cool hole.
Yeah, I love the green. I love the choices they have to make off the tee. I love the wedge shot that they have to hit in. I love how small the little green is.
Yeah. And then mine, I like number 8 just because of the potential for what could happen and kind of the creativity you need sometimes. What was that on the list?
Yeah, the potential and the creativity and all of that leads to the easiest hole on the course.
Beautiful. Which makes sense. You kind of called it whenever with the trivia question, you kind of called it where it's like the hardest hole isn't going to be a par 5. You know, like people are going to score on those.
Yeah, so we said last year when my trivia question was what are the 3 hardest holes? And the same 3 were the 3 hardest for this year, 5, 11, and 17.
Nice. Okay. That's cool. Hey, anything else on the Masters? I feel like that was a really good little recap we had there.
Was 11 the hardest?
5.
5 was the hardest. Okay. I
5 was the hardest last year too.
I got a couple more small things. Par 3 contest, need a hit on it. Kevin Hart and Kelsey, get off of the TV. It's time we need to bring back the sanctity of the Masters. That was dumb. I hate it. Hated everything about the par 3 contest. I refuse to watch it anymore. It's not.
I was kind of happy that I didn't have to listen. I was watching on my phone at that point. I was like, are they on screen? What is happening right now?
Yeah, it's stupid. The gnomes are out of control.
Really?
Yeah, they were. I saw one sell for like 28,000. It was like one of the rare ones or something. That was like what someone put on there. I think it was like the highest ever that one sold for. That was crazy. I hope they go away forever. I think this is the last year or next year's the last year of them. I think they were doing it for 10 years. So hopefully the gnomes go away. And then Masters Halls.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, that's all Mrs. Under the Covers was talking about. She's like, have you seen all these Masters Halls that people are posting on TikTok and stuff? And some of them are crazy. I mean, they bought the entire. Like I was in the shop. These people bought the entire shop. It's crazy.
I can't believe that.
I walked out with. I mean, I walked out with a good amount of stuff, but like I didn't. You wouldn't have seen me and been like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. You would have seen like, oh, that's like a normal amount of things that guy's carrying. But like these people had bags full, like double bags full of stuff.
Yeah, because they're spending like 6 to 10 grand on stuff because they're going and they're making the best out of it. They're like, hey, aunt, uncle, cousin, friend, brother, sister, what do you want? I will buy it for you. And then I don't know, some of these people, they're making their money back just doing a haul on TikTok with views.
Do you have our matching divot tools that you can show?
I don't have them. Oh, I do.
Yes.
I already have mine in the bag, but I got the Under the Covers group some matching divot tools.
We need more of that. We need you to film one of those for the TikTok.
No, and then I think I got like a whiskey glass. And then
football, sports, golf,
football, sports,
man stuff.
And I bought a nice windbreaker. So yeah,
well, there you go.
A normal amount of things.
Here's my haul. I got marketing kicked my ass with this one. I needed a water bottle, so I got the golf ball Owala.
Ooh,
nice.
I think you can see it. It's got little dimples in it. It's ridiculous, but I'm like, nice. I'm going into work meetings like at our office, and I have Breeze like sky blue Stanley that's bigger than my head. I'm like, I need something that's a little bit more sleek and can fit in my golf bag. So this is a double win.
Yeah, I was mad I missed out on the release of that. That's a sweet water bottle. I got the black one that's the same, but no dimples.
If I find another one up here, I can get it for you.
Yeah, snag it for me.
So Matt, you mentioned that You kind of talked about gnomes earlier in the week, but it wasn't on our podcast. I wanted to give a little bit of a plug for the Fairway Times. Colt Peters, he was nice enough to reach out and kind of do a little bit collab with us and get Matt on his podcast. So go check that out. The Fairway Times, Spotify. I think he's kind of on everything that we are as well. But yeah, did you want to speak on that a little bit? I had a couple of notes.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. Connected through the internet. So internet friends, a little 90 Day Fiance, whatever. And then, now I think we're gonna do a PGA Championship maybe preview up here on Under the Covers with Fairway Times.
It was a great podcast. I mean, like, y'all didn't stop. It was very well executed. Y'all's talking points were awesome. Like, I really loved the segment that y'all had on. He used AI to kind of help himself with his betting portfolio. And I never really thought of it that way, but he was basically compiling different things on how do players do this on Augusta. So he was basically saying that a 6 and 7 iron play needs to be the best. And it's a lot of people think it's putting, but it's a lot of those approach shots. So, I mean, nowadays, that's where Gary Player was kind of mad, where it's people are hitting a 7 iron into a par 5. So, like, people are hitting shorter clubs, but like, I really like that idea. And like, it was really cool. I was like, dang, that's a great way to use ChatGPT. Like, what are we doing?
Could be helpful for my one and done picks instead of doing it on,
just
that
vibe.
feeling in my gut. I gotta start using Claude.
Well, you need to change something, so maybe you should.
I know. No, yeah. Colton's super cool. Definitely go check him out. And we're gonna have him on our podcast for the PGA Championship preview. So
beautiful. That'll
be fun stuff. And maybe he'll do some AI stuff with us for sure. So
I love it. Yeah, be on the lookout for that.
Did you guys see Logan Olson's like limited release putters that he did on Instagram?
He's done more already?
Yeah, like fresh off the press. He did, it was like over the weekend for the Masters. It was like 25 putters, $825. You had to be like the first ones to message your specs, and then he would like send you an invoice, I guess. And I was like, oh man, this would be so cool, but it's going to be right-handed. I'm screwed. I'm scrolling through his Instagram story. He's like, sorry, lefties, but I promise the next release is only for you. So your boy might be ready to spend some money that I really don't need to spend, but I might have to spend. It'd be dumb not to, right? If it's a limited Logan Olson lefty, I think I'd have to do it.
If you can, you have to. Just sell those, sell the new Mizunos that you got. Your little Facebook marketplace back and forth, and then you'll be just fine.
Good point. I'm excited. I got to turn on notifications for every time he makes a story, so I don't miss it.
Matt, can you ask our CFO if we can expense it on our account?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can expense whatever you want. I mean,
we're talking to the C-suite here.
You know what?
Dude, that'd be so cool.
We'll just we'll take it out of our paycheck in 2027.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So TaylorMade also dropped a new putter. TaylorMade also dropped a new putter.
I saw a little snake.
TaylorMade dropped a new putter. Matt, you start talking because clearly I can't.
Yeah. Okay. So TaylorMade. We got some golf equipment news that just dropped today at the RBC. So TaylorMade dropped a new Spider lineup. And Titleist released pictures of the GTS Fairway line. Big thing to note there is there's silver faces to see some loft, I think, for those clubs. I think that's the new trend now, Kevin, it seems.
Yeah, Cam Young had been playing in the GT line, a tour prototype with the lighter face. So he switched over to the GTS for the Masters, and it was a familiar look for him to be able to see that silver face. I think they look absolutely sweet. I can't wait to get my hands on one of them.
I know. I'm hoping that I get maybe some shop credit at the member guest I have this week and maybe pick myself up a GTS at a later date. That would
be incredible.
So
it's kind of like pre-order one. Is that doable?
Yeah, because you just get shop credit and you can kind of spend it whenever. So I might just, once they're out, go back and snag one. So we'll see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not a ton of news. The RBC Heritage, it's a pretty quiet week on tour. Right after the Masters, I think Harbor Town is like, I don't know, a few hours away from Augusta. Like, it's not very far.
I think it's 3 hours to Hilton Head.
Yeah, exactly. So Harbor Town Golf Links, really fun, cool course. Probably one of the most unique courses on tour that they play. It's like super narrow fairways, really short, tight golf course. Originally designed by Pete Dye, but this year is the first year of the Davis Love III redo. So he completely went in and kind of tore up the golf course and revitalized it a little bit, brought it back to that original Pete Dye state. So that's going to be really fun to see. And I can't wait I love this tournament. I think it's really chill vibe, and it usually always brings like a pretty good leaderboard towards the end. And I think anybody can win there. We've seen bombers to, players of Brian Bros caliber win out there. So anybody can really pull up. Anybody can do anything.
Brian Harmons of the world.
No, it was Wesley Bryan. Wesley Bryan went out there.
Oh, he did? Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I thought you were just making a joke. I was like, yeah, I mean,
What do you have against
I'm
Brian
making a joke.
Harmon? He won an Open Championship.
no, that's what I'm saying is like, he does well at this course because he can like navigate super well, So I was kind of playing into the Brian joke there.
I thought you were taking a dig at my lefty brethren.
Absolutely not. That guy's sick.
But like also long players, really long hitters do well at Harbor Town as well, because like the shorter guys still have to hit driver, whereas like somebody like Dustin Johnson can just hit 4-iron off every tee. So like that also really helps for accuracy. Yeah, it's a cool golf course. I'm super excited for it. So
Nice. Well, I think that's a perfect time to get into our one and dones. Just a little bit of a recap. We had a few different episodes going on throughout the week. Kind of a Masters recap, our normal under the covers, but just to kind of go back. So Matt, he chose his one and done about a month ago, and it really, I mean, I don't hate anything about it. For some reason, you hated it. So you tried to go back and forth a bunch. You ended up taking Ludwig Oberg, and then he ended up at 21st place. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of math in our head. So for majors, we decided to double our points. So 21, but then he gets 42 points for our one and dones. Kevin, he hit one of his favorite golfers, Victor Hovland. Awesome to see him playing well. He ended up at like a really good round on Sunday, ended up being 18th place, tied for 18th. So that's 36 points for Kevin. And then I went with Xander, who ended up T9. So I'll get 18, just kind of one of those where he always plays well at the Masters. But to go into our totals, Matt is currently at the bottom of the leaderboard at 517 points. Sorry for laughing. Kevin is right there at 307, and then I'm currently sitting at 186. So I gained a little bit of room on Kevin there, not too much. I feel like it's one tournament, 2 tournaments that's going to knock me down. I just know it. So
well, yeah, you picked all the good players. You can't pick the good players anymore. That's going to be your down.
I mean, that's just not true. There's 19 tournaments. You don't think there's 19 good players that I can choose?
Yeah.
Not
Dom
according to
didn't
Brian
pick
Rolapp.
players who are like 200 ranked.
All right, we'll see what happens. I do this with the NFL version of this all the time, where I try to get too cute with it, and I always just get toasted. So I'm just seeing what the opposite feels like. Choose all the good guys. I mean, my worst choice was Dumont Dechassard, and he was a 49. So I'm like, I might as well just pick guys like the thoroughbreds, as you call them. But that's too much talking. Matt, let's just get right into it. Who are you choosing for RBC Heritage?
Yeah. As Kevin called this man one time, the frumpy boy, Matt Fitzpatrick.
Whoa!
Loves RBC Heritage. He used to use the head cover of the whatever clock tower or ship tower or whatever thing, the logo of RBC, so or Harbor Town. Yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick loves this place. Front master.
All right, Kev.
Oh, that's a good pick. I thought about Fitzy there, King Frump with his Skechers and all. He like you said, previous winner. I am going to go with Russell Henley. Had a great final round of the Masters on his birthday, turned 37 and was just on fire. I thought he was going to like keep it rolling there and make a few more birdies. It just ran out of steam a little bit at the end. No, I can't pick Russell Henley. I picked him already.
Did you really?
Wow, I am so dumb. All
You
right.
didn't.
Did you see, while you pick your next pick, did you see somebody tweet that somebody put Russell Henley as the Coles of golf?
That's awesome.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, actually, sorry, no, cut that out. I picked Russell Henley before we started the pod in my one and done. That's how I've been keeping track of who I've used.
Well, gotcha. Okay. So do you still want him?
Yeah.
Right.
I will use Russell Henley.
Nice. Okay. Oh man. So I had 2 in my head, and I was kind of hoping that Matt would choose him, and I'm surprised he didn't. I'm either between Jordan Spieth or Patrick Cantlay, and I think I'm gonna go with Patrick Cantlay officially.
It's good.
Lock it in.
Jordan Spieth can't keep it on the planet. He's gonna hit so many trees this week.
Well, that's the thing. He missed the cut whenever he won, but then he had 2 extra days of rest. But yeah, that putting stroke is just scary right now, so I don't touch it.
He won this tournament in 2022. He's got it in him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think those are solid picks
Dom,
there.
did you mention in your picks, you said between Jordan Spieth and Cantlay, did you mention 2022 that they were Spieth won and Cantlay was the
that was his
runner-up?
playoff. I knew he lost in a playoff, but I didn't realize it was against Spieth there.
Yeah.
I was hoping I didn't just like tune that out and not listen when you were saying or when you were talking.
Nice.
But you lined it up perfectly.
Beautiful. I love it. All right. I think that that brings us to the beloved Kevin Trivia Corner.
So, trivia question that doesn't count, but because of the Masters, because of our last episode, we talked about having 18 for 18 greens in regulation. Who was the only other player to do it? I'm sure you guys looked it up.
At the Masters?
Yeah.
This
Kevin
week?
Na. No. Kevin Na was the last one before Tyrrell Hatton, and only one other person's done it.
Ooh.
I had 100% assumed you'd look it up right after we talked about it.
No, I only knew about Kevin Na. What was your guess?
Tiger.
King of the backwards hats.
Backwards hats? Justin Thomas?
Nope. Jim Furyk, 2009.
Oh, the backwards hats. That's a nice pull.
That should have maybe been the actual trivia question. Dang.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that. So what's your other one?
But so RBC Heritage, Justin Thomas is our reigning champion, reigning winner to put on the red plaid jacket. Kind of odd that they do the jacket right after the Masters, but hey, everyone's got to have their thing. He won in a playoff last year against who?
Oh, man.
Damn, dude.
And a reminder for our listeners, if either of them get it right, me and the other person will chug a beer. It's a big prize.
Who did he beat? It was somebody obscure.
Dang it, dude. Was it Brian Harmon?
Not Brian Harmon.
Oh.
It was definitely somebody super... Andrew Novak.
What?
Son of a gun, you got it. Oh my gosh. How on earth did you pull that out?
Oh, I remember that. That was such a random one.
I remember because he was playing super well. Everybody thought he was going to make the Ryder Cup team, and he hosts his own football podcast.
Awesome.
No way. I can't believe that.
Kevin, I'm a golf encyclopedia.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Encyclopedia.
What a pull, man. That was nice.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at that one. That was good stuff.
How on earth did you get that?
Dude, I was going back in the archives, and I remember because he had just won. Andrew Novak had just won something else recently, and I remember he was playing super well. And then when you said it was somebody obscure, that kind of helped me narrow it down. And I just remember that everybody was talking about him getting on the Ryder Cup after that.
Dirty dog.
I know. Sorry, guys.
What you got, Kev? I got my fave, Budweiser.
I got a nice Bud Select in my Cavs mug. Shout out playoff season coming.
I didn't bring a mug, but we'll see how this goes. Cheers.
You'll probably still beat me.
Beautiful.
Perfect sign off. Follow us if you aren't. Can't wait for RBC Heritage. Masters is awesome. Rory is awesome. Patrick Reed is not. Thanks for listening.
Patrick Reed is a beautiful boy, and he will be back.
We'll see you next week.
He will be back for blood.
He knows it doesn't matter what's under a hood. The only thing that matters is who's behind the wheel.
When I flush in, I don't stick to this.
But again, with the driver right now, the driver sucks.
I tried to activate my glutes the best I could.
Now watch this drive.